In the quiet town of Ravensbrook, nestled between thick woods and rolling hills, there stood an old zoo that had long been forgotten by the townsfolk. The once vibrant and lively place had fallen into disrepair, and its gates were now rusted shut. Hidden behind the overgrown foliage, the zoo had become a haunting relic of the past, its cages echoing with the ghosts of animals that had suffered in silence. Years ago, a heartless zookeeper named Jasper had exploited the creatures for profit, subjecting them to cruel treatment and neglect. The animals endured endless torment, their spirits crushed within the confines of their cages. One fateful night, driven by the agony of their existence, the animals forged a pact in the shadows. A pact to escape and unleash their vengeance upon those who had tormented them. As the clock struck midnight, an eerie silence blanketed the town, broken only by the distant howls of the wind. The gates of the abandoned zoo creaked open, as if guided by an otherworldly force. One by one, the animals slinked into the darkness, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling intelligence that hinted at their newfound freedom. The first to emerge was a massive lion, its mane flowing like a fiery crown around its scarred face. Behind it, a pack of wolves moved with a calculated precision, their eyes ablaze with an unnatural glow. Bears lumbered out, their once gentle demeanor replaced by a ferocious hunger for retribution. Creatures of the night, long confined to their cages, now prowled the streets of Ravensbrook, their vengeance-fueled rampage leaving a trail of terror in their wake. The townsfolk awoke to the chilling sounds of distant roars and animalistic growls. Panic spread like wildfire as people rushed to lock their doors and windows, realizing that the nightmare from the past had returned to haunt them. The animals, fueled by years of resentment, descended upon the town with a fury that knew no bounds. The once quiet streets were now a chaotic battleground. The lion roared, its feral cries echoing through the town square, while the wolves prowled the alleys, their eyes fixed on anyone unfortunate enough to cross their path. Bears tore through the local shops, their massive claws leaving destruction in their wake. The zoo animals had become vengeful phantoms, exacting their revenge on the humans who had inflicted so much pain upon them. The townspeople, armed with whatever makeshift weapons they could find, formed a desperate resistance against the onslaught. But the animals were cunning, and they moved with an uncanny intelligence that surpassed any wild instincts. The once imprisoned creatures seemed to be driven by a malevolent force, orchestrating their revenge with a methodical precision that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to stand against them. In the heart of the chaos, a group of survivors gathered in the town's old library, desperately searching for answers to the supernatural nightmare that had befallen them. As they pored over dusty tomes and faded maps, a realization dawned upon them. The only way to end the curse was to confront the source of the animals' suffering. Guided by a cryptic clue hidden within the library's archives, the survivors made their way to the zoo, where Jasper, the cruel zookeeper, had once reveled in his sadistic practices. As they approached the decaying cages, the air thickened with a malevolent energy. Shadows danced on the cracked walls, and the survivors felt the weight of the animals' collective anger pressing down upon them. In the heart of the zoo, they discovered a hidden chamber, untouched by time. Inside, a ghostly apparition of Jasper appeared, surrounded by the tormented spirits of the animals he had wronged. His eyes glowed with an otherworldly malevolence as he reveled in the chaos that had been unleashed upon Ravensbrook. With a solemn determination, the survivors confronted the spectral figure, armed with the knowledge that breaking the curse required freeing the tortured souls of the animals. As they chanted ancient incantations and performed a ritual to cleanse the zoo of its dark energy, the apparition of Jasper writhed in agony. The spirits of the animals howled in both anguish and relief as the curse that bound them began to unravel. As the last words of the incantation echoed through the zoo, the ghostly figures of the animals dissipated into the night, leaving behind an eerie calm. The survivors, exhausted but triumphant, emerged from the zoo to find the once rampaging creatures now gone, their vengeful spirits finally at peace. Ravensbrook, now scarred by the memory of the supernatural ordeal, slowly began to heal. The abandoned zoo, stripped of its malevolent energy, returned to the quiet oblivion it had known for years. The survivors, forever marked by the horrors they had witnessed, would never forget the night when the abused animals of the past sought justice from beyond the grave. But deep in the shadows, the wind still carried whispers of the zoo's haunting past. Some swore they could hear the distant roars of a lion or the echoing howls of wolves on moonlit nights, a reminder that the scars of the past could never truly be erased. Years passed, and the small town of Ravensbrook gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy. The once abandoned zoo remained a haunting relic, now overgrown with ivy and surrounded by an air of uneasy silence. The survivors, forever changed by the ordeal, formed a tight-knit community bonded by shared trauma. However, the memories of that fateful night lingered like a spectral presence in the collective consciousness of the town. Residents spoke in hushed tones about the paranormal events that had transpired, and children dared each other to venture near the rusted gates of the zoo after dark. Some claimed to have seen ghostly apparitions of the once-abused animals wandering the outskirts of town, their eyes still gleaming with an otherworldly glow. Despite the efforts to move on, a lingering unease permeated Ravensbrook. The survivors, haunted by nightmares and the echoing cries of the animals, sought solace in each other's company. A sense of camaraderie developed among them, as if they shared a secret that bound them together, a secret known only to those who had stood against the vengeful spirits. One particularly stormy night, as lightning streaked across the sky and thunder echoed through the hills, a group of townsfolk gathered in the local tavern. The atmosphere was tense, and nervous whispers filled the air as they exchanged uneasy glances. It was then that an old woman, known for her wisdom and connection to the supernatural, entered the room. She spoke of a prophecy, a tale passed down through generations, warning of the consequences of cruelty to the innocent. According to the prophecy, the spirits of the abused animals would forever be tied to the land, seeking justice until the day the town faced its collective guilt and made amends. The survivors, now more determined than ever to free Ravensbrook from the lingering curse, embarked on a journey to unravel the town's dark history. They delved into dusty archives, spoke to elders who had long kept silent, and uncovered forgotten secrets buried beneath layers of time. The more they learned, the clearer it became that the sins of the past had woven a tapestry of suffering that bound the town to the spirits of the once-abused animals. As the group unearthed long-buried truths, they discovered that the zoo had not always been a place of torment. In its early years, it had been a sanctuary for endangered species, a testament to the town's commitment to conservation. However, as greed took hold and the original caretakers passed away, the zoo fell into the hands of Jasper, the malevolent zookeeper whose cruelty had tainted the land. Realizing that the only way to break the curse was to rectify the wrongs of the past, the survivors organized a town-wide ceremony. They gathered at the now-cleared grounds of the zoo, holding hands in a circle as they chanted ancient incantations to appease the vengeful spirits. The air crackled with energy, and a spectral mist enveloped the group, carrying their intentions into the realm of the supernatural. In a moment of eerie stillness, the ghostly apparitions of the animals materialized before them. This time, however, their eyes no longer burned with anger but radiated a serene glow. The spirits of the once-abused creatures acknowledged the town's repentance, and with a collective ethereal howl, they dissipated into the night. The storm, which had raged on throughout the ceremony, suddenly ceased. The clouds parted, revealing a full moon that cast a silver glow upon Ravensbrook. The survivors, exhausted yet relieved, witnessed the town's transformation as a newfound peace settled over the land. From that day forward, Ravensbrook thrived in harmony with nature. The once-abandoned zoo, now a symbol of redemption, became a lush park where families gathered to enjoy the beauty of the outdoors. The echoes of the past still whispered through the rustling leaves, but they carried a message of healing and forgiveness. As the years passed, the events of that fateful night became a cautionary tale, a reminder to treat all living beings with kindness and respect. The survivors, forever bound by their shared journey, continued to uphold the values of compassion, ensuring that the dark history of Ravensbrook would never repeat itself. And so, the small town that had once been gripped by the horrors of the past found redemption in the shadows, as the spirits of the animals that had suffered were finally granted the peace they had sought for so long. The years rolled by, and Ravensbrook underwent a remarkable transformation. The once-tainted town became a beacon of resilience and compassion, its inhabitants embracing a newfound understanding of the interconnectedness between humanity and the natural world. The old zoo, now a thriving park, served as a testament to the power of redemption and the ability to mend the wounds of the past. The survivors, having found solace in one another, continued to foster a sense of community. They became stewards of the land, working tirelessly to preserve the delicate balance between man and nature. As their efforts flourished, Ravensbrook gained a reputation for environmental conservation and ethical treatment of animals, a stark contrast to the haunting memories of its dark past. The once-abused animals, now free from the shackles of vengeance, were said to have found peace in the afterlife. However, whispers persisted that their spirits lingered in the shadows, watching over the town they had once sought to punish. Some claimed to hear faint echoes of contented purrs, gentle footsteps, or the soft rustling of leaves, as if the animals were guardians of Ravensbrook, forever grateful for the redemption bestowed upon them. The survivors, who had once faced the wrath of vengeful spirits, became revered figures in the town. Their tale was passed down through generations, a cautionary reminder of the consequences of cruelty and the transformative power of repentance. Ravensbrook's story became a beacon of hope for other communities grappling with the ghosts of their own pasts, inspiring them to confront their demons and forge a path towards healing. As the town blossomed into a harmonious haven, the survivors aged gracefully, their stories becoming folklore whispered around campfires. Each year, on the anniversary of the ceremony that had broken the curse, the people of Ravensbrook gathered at the Zoo Park to celebrate the triumph of compassion over cruelty. They lit candles, released lanterns into the night sky, and offered gratitude to the spirits that had once roamed in anger but now rested in peace. The old woman who had guided them through the darkest of times became a wise matriarch, sharing her insights with younger generations. She often spoke of the delicate dance between humans and nature, emphasizing the importance of empathy and the need to learn from the mistakes of the past. And so, Ravensbrook became a living testament to the power of redemption, a town that had faced the horrors of its history and emerged stronger, wiser, and united. The once abandoned zoo, now a symbol of transformation, stood as a reminder that even the darkest shadows could give way to the light of compassion and forgiveness.
Like, subscribe, and click on notifications that will allow you to stay up to date with the news and not miss videos from the channel, where there will be many more horror stories.